I am still the choir director of my church until now.
Whoa. Okay, that's gonna be big. Yeah, that's whoa.
When I started my career, everybody told me, "Oh, like, bro, you have to have 9 chains on your neck. You have to have 25 jewelries." But you know what I realized very quickly? You don't need to have that because that's what everyone else is doing. That's the next guy. The next guy who's going to release a single tomorrow, who's got 2 fans, he's got 25 chains on his neck. Every time I went to church, I could hear people whispering. I could hear people like, "Our superstar is here." People making, "Our superstar is here again." When they want to make jokes like, "Oh, you need to commit yourself." Someone called me out recently. Randomly in a group chat, who's supposedly a pastor, randomly called me out and said, "Oh, that my recent video is soft porn." And this was the day before I was supposed to lead worship in church.
Thank you. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and this is CTD Among Blacks. You already know we've been able to move. We did a step. We took a bold confidence, and luckily for us, Great Adamz. For you that might not know him, is that one artist that representing Afrobeats all the way back. For a lot of people that might not know from America here, if you're watching this particular episode from Nigeria, it's been in the game. I don't know what I found out. It's more than 10 years. Officially, it's 10 years. But having Great Adamz with us. Great Adamz, what would you like to say to our audience, please?
No, I just want to say thank you guys for allowing me to be here today. It's a very nice platform. And it would be good to chat. I don't really talk a lot. That's why there's people always say there's not a lot about you out there, because I don't accept a lot of interviews. I don't like to talk. I like to just do my music. So
thank you very much.
It's good to talk to you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's an honor, and I would like to you. It was my team that I started researching, because we started saying, okay, you know what, let's start looking for Nigerians all around the world, Africans around the world, and let's be the platform that talks about them, because all the big brands don't really want to give chances to people that are really growing into become the big one in the industry. So having you, that I know I checked, I could see only like 3 or 4 interviews. You really don't do a lot.
I don't. I'm very bad at that. My it's not like I'm not a big talker. It's just I naturally I'm not one of those people that have a lot to say. I think there's people that have a lot to say most of the time. I prefer to speak when I've got something to say. So
I like that. I think you're saying a lot you might not know through the music, because that's you giving us who you are, and we do appreciate it. So I'm going to start with this. I will start with the first professional question, and I think that's what brought us here. And being a Nigerian, being a great artist that I've listened to your music, and I'm not lying, how do you manage with producing your music? Being in the UK, how that experience has been, finding the right producer that will work with you, getting your tune. There's a lot you want to put into music as an Afrobeat in the UK. Would you like to share that audience so that people can understand what it entails?
It's actually a lot more difficult than anyone can imagine. For me, getting your instrumental done, your actual production done, is the most complicated thing you could think of when you're abroad. When I'm in Nigeria, for example, there's a talented person every corner you look. Like you need a lead guitarist, just turn around and you see someone in 2 minutes. One of the struggles I have, or we have in the UK, there are talented people, but the thing about Afrobeats is it's such a deep line of music. You have to have lived it, and you have to have understood what the melody needs to sound like. It's not like putting a couple samples together and doing bam bam and you think, oh yeah, great, that's a good. No. Like the kind of music I make very melodious music. So I need someone who understands how to run the melody. So in the UK, it's a struggle. And that's why most of my producers are outside the UK. I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, my album. And another thing you'll notice about us that are abroad is most of our, how do I call it now? Most of our albums and stuff, you realize that there's 9-10 producers in one album. But when you look at other artists who are in Nigeria, they have 3 producers because they have who they're working with, Yeah, but with us, the reason why there's so many producers is because we're listening to. Sometimes I'm spending 6 hours, in like 2 days listening to instrumentals on YouTube or parks that people have sent to me, and I'm like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and then before you know, you're on the next one. Before you know, you're on the next one. Before you know, 3 hours is gone and you don't find nothing, and then you start again the next day. You listen to another producer, so it takes a lot of time. But what it also does is, on a positive side, is it allows you to write more music and to experiment more. That's why people always say to me, when I said my album was coming out, when I was speaking to some friends, they said, the only reason we're so excited for your album is because we know you're not going to follow the trend. We know that you're not going to be doing amapiano all through the album. We know that we're not going to be hearing the same stuff, the same beat from track 1 to track 7. And I said, to be honest with you, the whole album, you would understand the movement. It's a journey, but it's different elements of different things. It's not amapiano only, it's not Afrobeats only, it's different sections of Afrobeats put together. Even some beats of dancehall is there as well. So yeah, so to come back to your question, is difficult, but we're glad that we have lots of amazing producers now who can send you instrumental packs online. I've got a place I obviously record. I've got my studio here that I record, mix and master, and I add stuff because I play 4 instruments. So,
that's my next question. Actually, you jumped into it. You jump into the next question. So pause. 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 Yeah. Let me ask you. I did a research about you, and I realized you did pause the music to learn some instrument.
I did, yeah.
You understand? That was fascinating to me. Like, you don't hear a lot of musicians say, like, you know what? There was a time it wasn't like I don't do my music, but I just put a pause to really learn guitar, to learn keyboard. I think to learn drums, if I'm right. I don't know.
Yes. I played professionally for about 4.5 years. Professionally drums. Yeah. Wow. So I wasn't the best singer. A lot of people don't believe this when I say this. I was not the best singer at that point. Okay. Maybe I'm better now.
I'm about to say, I listened to your cover, and I think you were that singer, and I'm glad. I appreciate the fact that you're being humble and vulnerable enough to share that with people. I think your fans will appreciate you saying that, because it's a way of, for me, I've listened to your songs. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a critic. You might have but man, I'm waiting for what you want to give us. And I say that to say because of, it is not about the music, it's the intellect. I see the intellect and what you're doing. You're intentional about it. And that's one thing I always tell people, like, it's the intention that counts. Some people are making music to make money. You took a pause because you want to have some instruments in your sound. And what has been the experience of you having all this instrumental knowledge when you make your music and you can't find a producer that will do exactly what you want?
Exactly.
So that's the continuity of the question.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I wasn't the best singer in the room at that point. I realized that when I'm making music or when I'm trying to sing, people were doing certain things in a way that I didn't like. So that used to bother me a lot. If you come to my rehearsals, we're doing a documentary right now on my life, on everything, like the shows we've just done. You've probably seen on my social media, we just did the Fountain Music.
You're more powerful on social media too. You're powerful on social media. When I went to your page, I see the growth. I think you really understand. You've mastered social media to some kind of way. I don't think people are ready.
I have worked hard. I was going to say that. But you know what it is? So it's like when I'm in the studio, I'm like, or when I'm writing a song or we're doing like my live band, I'm like, okay, I don't like this, but trust me, if you're in my space, you see what happens. My keyboardists know that if they play something wrong, they're gonna get up and I'm gonna be on the keys, right? And another thing is why people love my live band so much now, and we're building a reputation, is because everything is perfect. And the only reason it's perfect is because my keyboardist knows that if he plays a chord wrong, I'm turning around.
Wow.
Yeah? So the pressure that puts on him is immense. It's a lot. So he has to go and practice. You know what I mean? I'm not like some musician that you can mess up their chords and they wouldn't know. I know every single chord that you play wrongly. But at that point, I wanted to be better at mainly playing the drums, because I just felt like the drums didn't carry music the way I wanted it to. So I thought I wasn't the best singer. There was other people that were better than me. But I saw something that I know that I can be better than this guy. Do you understand? So I left. I was like, I'll go learn the drums, and I learned the drums. I started to play professionally for 4 years. I got tired because I became so good at it, and then my keyboardist wasn't doing very well. And then I had a keyboardist then in church that left. I was like, okay, I'm not playing drums again. So I went to play keys, and then the moment I started writing lots of music, I fell in love with the guitar. It just happens, and then I self-taught. So everything that I've just said was self-taught. I never went to any school. I never learned anything from anyone. I taught myself to play all of these instruments. And I'm obviously, as you know, I mix and master all my songs as well. You know, and I also produce. So
thank you for that. My next question is kind of I'm going back what you share with the world and what I've been able to put my hands on about you, because at the end of the day, what you're sharing now is going to be the update people know about you now. Basically, what the last time you gave an interview. And what I found out is how has been that switch. A lot of the musicians have this parental family, being a choir, being a chorister, and now you're doing music. How has that been shaping yourself? You know, when you're in the studio, when you have your band, you just said you're making a documentary. Is that something, was he had? Because we believe, I'm a Christian home. When you come from a Christian home, they feel like secular music comes to the level of some experience. So how has that been for you in that journey of music? How have you been able to, take yourself out and balance both worlds?
I'm going to share something now that I've never shared anywhere before.
Wow.
And a lot of people are probably going to be like, what? Because I've never told anyone this. I am still the choir director of my church until now.
Whoa. Okay, that's going to be big, yeah. Whoa. All right, I'm listening to you. All right.
Everyone's gonna, it's something that a lot of people keep very quietly because of my manager and stuff. But I still lead praise and worship till today, man. Yeah.
How do you do the switch?
Believe it or not. You know what? Because my mom is a deaconess, and I don't have the contemporary type of mother that every Nigerian has. My mother told me one time, she said, do you believe in God? I said, yes. Okay. Do you believe that God gave you the gift? I said, yeah. I said, okay. Do you believe that other people's opinion matters? I said, no. She said, okay. Whatever you decide to do, as far as the church is okay with it, that you are in, continue to do that. It was very hard because every time I went to church, I could hear people whispering. I could hear people like, our superstar is here. People making, our superstar is here again. When they want to make jokes like, oh, you need to commit yourself. Someone called me out recently, randomly in a group chat. He's supposedly a pastor. Yeah, randomly called me out and said, oh, that my recent video is soft porn. And this was the day before I was supposed to lead worship in church.
How do you manage that as an artist? Because now I'm sharing this with you. My dad is a pastor, so I know what you feel. I know where you're coming from. And I think before I could do my switch to where I am, it takes a lot. So that's one of the reasons when I saw you saying, you're leading church, and here you're doing music that has to do with a lot of fans are gonna they're gonna run at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But people wouldn't understand your intention about it. People are looking at the glamoring part, and that's why I asked you, like, how have you been able to? And this is what you just said now is huge for any fans that might end up seeing this. Is the fact that people don't understand what you go through. What you're doing is for Nigeria, it's not just for you. You literally put in the music out to make people happy, to make people relate to who we are as an African. And you're in UK, and that's something I'm glad your pastor is working with you, because it takes a lot of exposure for any church to handle that kind of, because you're big now on social media.
Even imagine in my town, I'm big in my town, massive. I mean, this is why I worship. So it's not like I'm an artist that nobody knows. Do you know what I mean? It's that you can go to church, they wouldn't even know that you're doing the song.
How are you managing it with a feeling?
Everybody knows. It's difficult. It's very hard. It's very hard, to be honest. One thing I always say, I'm lucky because I have a beautiful wife. I think that's another way that God is kind of put me in the right direction.
Yeah, I like that.
I do. I have a beautiful wife. I've got 2 kids. I've got 2 daughters. Well, again, that's another one. This is why I don't talk, because
no. Yeah, I think so. This is the thing that I found out as an artist, as a fan that I am. the more we know you, the more we fall in love with what you're doing. Now you don't got to put everything out, but the kind of music you're making is the kind of music that put people on like thinking about love, about family, about nature, about that's because when I listen to it,
that's what I want. That's what I want. Exactly.
So you're passing the message. Is that you?
Yeah.
And I'm in America, so you're literally passing the message. I just feel like you're growing into it. And my next question is to ask you, like, there's this something you have. So there's a Nigerian slang, they call it steeze. When I checked you 9 years ago when you're doing Would You cover, there's a way you dress. And I'm still seeing you like that. What inspired this fashion that what doesn't really put too much in? Because anytime I went to your page, it's steeze. Like when I say steeze, I'm like, dang. When I saw your video 9 years, I'm like, this man is from the same. Like you're intentional about anytime people want to catch you or you're outside.
Very, your
haircut, your clothes, the style. I don't think people notice the style you keep. Like there's this way you intentionally want people to see you. And I went to your page, I'm like, wow. I said, I need to ask you, like, where does this, as a Nigerian, living in the UK, where does this fashion comes from?
See, I have this idea of fashion that you don't need to look too much. You need to look like yourself, and you need to look like the way you want people to see you. When I started my career, everybody told me, bro, you have to have 9 chains on your neck. You have to have 25 jewelries. But you know what I realized very quickly? You don't need to have that because that's what everyone else is doing. That's the next guy who's going to release a single tomorrow who's got 2 fans. He's got 25 chains on his neck.
Fact.
You get me? But when you see a Great Adamz content video, you look at him and you think, okay, he's not wearing all these chains, but this is him. This is how he dresses. Like you've just said just now, how do you keep the same style? Because that's an identity. This is me. I still dress myself today. I've got 2 people who are supposed to be the people that look after my fashion, but they don't do anything. I still pick everything I wear till today. I've got a shoot in 2 weeks, and I'm currently picking what I wear because I always worry that people would always put the idea that they have of me into the outfit that they pick for me.
Fact.
Do you understand what I mean? But I feel like as a musician, if you are saying you're an entertainer, right? You're giving them the music. You also have to give them the other side of yourself that is original because they cannot bite. Imagine if you're eating bread and akara. Let's go back to Nigeria. And then you bite the bread, right? And then inside the bread there is butter instead of akara. But when you were buying the bread and akara, you paid 30 naira, say, madam, 2 akara with 1 bread. But you don't bite the bread. It does not mean that the butter is not nice. You get me? But because you understand that the butter is what you still eat on a normal day. But it's not akara, bro.
Oh, man, that's deep though. For you living in the UK, you give an example of back bread at akara is something. I think for us living in abroad, if you have it right now, it's gonna be so special to you. Exactly. So I like the fact that you bring that example. So my next question goes to I'm moving a little bit because I don't want to take your time, and I'm glad you're giving us this time. But I want to move around this question we have. My next question is as an Afrobeat artist that I believe you put in yourself in terms of how you carry yourself around it. What has been challenges you see for the genre itself? And what are your views? If an artist they ask you, you stay in the UK, you see how everything is going on in the industry, you see how everything is popping right now. In your own view of your own niche, what do you think? There's this saying Afrobeat is dying. I don't believe it. But what is your own view for that industry itself?
Wow. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in big trouble now.
It's just you being one thing I noticed, you're very vocal about some things, and your intellect is so high, you choose your words very careful. So I know for sure if I ask you, you're definitely gonna, because you're in UK, you're gonna give us more of something people have never thought about. So that's why I ask you the question. So sorry to put you on the line.
No, it's fine. This is the way I see Afrobeats, right? I think people would say it's dying because of 2 reasons. It's the same thing with rap music right now in America. Right?
Right.
When you stop feeding the machine, but you want the machine to function the way it was functioning at the start. Imagine when you buy a car, it's got a nice engine, you're supposed to service it every year. You know, now you don't serve it for 5 years, something's going to go wrong. See, the issue with Afrobeats right now is, are we actually servicing Afrobeats? Let me ask you a question. Think of our top artists right now and tell me one creative thing they're doing to the sound that you would say they're trying to pioneer for the next generation.
Man, Great Adamz, you are too professionally sound, because you throw the question back at me. But anyway, I'm gonna give you my own opinion because I'm a critic.
Yeah.
I think right now, you're right. When we go back to what we believe is Afrobeats and Afrobeats, I think we really don't have one that we can really identify. Everybody's just trying to put something out there. Like, based on the storyline, I might enjoy it. And I've done a couple of reviews when I said most of our songs, half of it doesn't really go deep. It's just this possible song, because the lyrics you fell in love is just gonna take you out of this world, in the sense where what you're gonna become to the world might not be something the world is gonna benefit from. If that makes sense. That's how I will answer the question when it comes to that. So I hope I answer you, but I'm throwing it back to you in sense. Everything is about sound and the storyline as an artist, and the punchlines, which I've been able to enjoy that from you. Do you think that is all? Because you said one thing I might be wrong what I see when you said we don't feed the engine. And in my own interpretation of that is we really not feeding the artists, and again the artists are not really feeding the fans, the real fans, the real core. I think everybody's giving to the world. And Nigerians are not being carried along with that. And when you ask an artist, they don't think about Africans or Nigerians, they think about who they want to service.
And can I tell you something, bro? Yes. How do you think Fela became so great? Fela never cared about Europe. Fela never cared about what anyone thought about his music. Fela cared about what the people that he was singing to felt about his music, right? There is, when I released my song "Love Your Neighbor," and you love your neighbor as you love yourself.
They ask you, but I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
What I'm trying to do there is, we need to understand that whether we're doing it on Amapiano, we're doing it on Afro beats, whatever we want to call it, the message of what we're trying to put out there, okay, it needs to be something that our people can still come back and relate to and understand. The reason Ojo Elegba is such a great record is when you listen to the lyrics of that record, who is Whiskey talking to? Whiskey is not talking to the guys in America that are chilling, popping bottles. He's telling you about the people that were around him when he had nothing. And then he tells you about how he used to go to the studio and things that he used to do. That's when Wizkid fed the engine. What did the engine do for him? The engine also functioned exactly as it was fed. It's really simple. Honestly, it's really simple. And Burna Boy has done the same thing as well. That's why you see, I love what Burna Boy does. People always talk about Burna a lot. But one thing I like about Burna is creative to a point where he doesn't forget his home. No matter what album Burna Boy does. When Burna Boy went to PDD, I just thought in my mind that, this guy is going to give us an album that is going to be like, there was also one artist, and I don't want to call his name, that also tried to do an American album at some point, and it completely flopped. But Burna Boy looked at that and went, okay, that's not my engine though, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm signed to an American record label. A lot of people don't know this, by the way. My record label is American.
Wow.
And yes, and when I sat down with them and they said, look, we're ready to go, we think you're ready to go, we want you to get the album out. When I sent them the album, they were terrified. They were shocked. But they came back to me and they said, we understand what's made you so special. You're sticking to what you understand and what you know. A lot of people said it was an American album, now you need to do some pop music. I said, pop what? Pop what? I need to do, as in for how? Why?
I like the Nigerian in you.
What am I popping? I was like, I'm not popping anything. You understand me? I'm doing what I understand. So coming back to your question, I feel like we have to understand that the industry itself is lacking the feed of that engine. And at the end of the day, it's lacking that because we are becoming a lot more commercialized in terms of people that we're signing to.
That's true.
Let's go back a bit now. I'm gonna go back a bit. That's why I said I don't like talking, because I get into a lot of trouble, man.
No, I think somebody got to educate people, not just what you're doing is for upcoming artists too. After you, there's some people trying to look up to you, trying to like just the way you mention and you talk about Bonner and Whiskey. Some people are really watching you because when I search about you, I was able to dissect some things, and I told you, and you're like, wow, that's true. So I think you're really helping people in terms of the niche you might put out. So
I want us to go back a little bit to something very important in the Afrobeats. What changed the Afrobeats? There was a very significant thing that happened. So when Two-Face was signed to Kenny's Music, and Idris was also signed to a Nigerian, they were all under a Nigerian record label, right? The Afrobeat started to push in a way where it has never been seen before. And that's why people still say that there's no other album that has been able to create the impact that Two-Face album created today. It's arguable, don't get me wrong. But you might not win that argument on a very good day, because that album was and still is one of the greatest albums of all time, right? Now let's go forward a little bit. Don Jazzy, the band, they break through. They broke through, right?
Yeah.
Now look at what Don Jazzy did with Mo Hits. Look at what he did with the Nigerian engine in itself, with the Afrobeat engine in itself. Look at what he did with that. And you know what element is always missing? Anytime a person completely leaves the Nigerian engine and start focusing on the other side, they go straight down. That's why Don Jazzy is so successful. That's why Olamide has been so successful, because it doesn't matter how good you are, they still tell you, when you focus on your people. I'm telling people to now that I'm surprised that the first actor, this is Ashake's Harmony album, this is the first time he's really looking at focusing on this other side of the market. And guess what your guy still did? He had one song with this guy, and then he's gone back home again, because he realized that that's not gonna, they will jump for 2 minutes, but I don't have the quality of work to feed those people the way they want to be fed. Let me feed the people that are actually hungry for my work, and I'm ready to give it to them. Is Asake ever going to do a hip-hop album? Never. Can he rap? Can he rap? How much of the American market can he steal based on what he has, based on what he can do? So at the end of the day, he still realizes that, and Olamide is an amazing, this is why Olamide is a genius. He still realizes that I need to feed the engine that carries me, and then whatever fuel is left, I go use that and pursue that.
Or modest way to talk. You giving me the critical. So I wouldn't mention the name, but I have like I told you, I'm a critic. So this is something me and my team worked on yesterday night. The story you just said, because we were talking about the rise of Afrobeat today. Where did it start from? How does it get here? And the storyline you use exactly what I worked on. So for the sake of me and you, I'm just keeping it to you and me. I have another question I want to ask you now about what you just said, and it has to do about you. Let me rewind. What was that one moment of song that made you realize, yeah, music is my calling? What was that song that you did? I like, you know what? This is my calling. This is. I'm gonna do this. I don't care how long it's gonna take me. I'm definitely gonna be out there. Do you remember the song?
Gosh, I remember a song called yeah, this is a very good question. There's one particular song that I did called Down a long time ago. When I did that song, it triggered me a lot, because I'm one of those people, I don't like copying other people's stuff. And the instrumental was more like da 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 da. You know, this do re do. They mixed that together. Yeah. But
that's long.
Yes, I always struggle with that kind of thing, because whatever song I'm hearing in my head, I'm gonna stick to that. Obviously, I did my own thing in a song, and like the song kind of went a bit crazy in my local scene at that time. Worry, where I'm from, and it went mad. And with Frankie Free also was on that song. But at that moment, I was like, you know what? If I can actually do this, then there's a lot more that I can actually do with my talent. I would say that was the moment. I would say as time goes on, there's different moments that triggers different aspects of your in you. But I think that moment I was like, yeah, maybe this is what I should be doing actually. Yeah.
I'm glad you can remember, because I think that same confidence you have is what brought us to you right now, to have you in our audience and our audience listening to you. My next question is about the song you mentioned. It's very powerful. Everybody quotes you any interview you go to. Is your Love Your Neighbor? And the question says, your Love Your Neighbor has an uplifting message about community. What was the moment in your life that made you realize how powerful unity can be?
You know what it is? Honestly, that's a very good question. Do you know what happened? I remember that it's funny we're talking about this, but this Love Your Neighbor song was actually written after the NSAS situation, funny enough.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a long time.
I'm glad we're doing the interview today, because Massacre 2020 is today too.
Today. Yeah, that's why I said this is wild that you're asking me this question. This is crazy. Wow. Yeah, so initially when I wrote the song, it was more about, I just felt, I remember watching those videos and I was just thinking, do you know what it is? It's our own brothers and our sisters that are actually shooting these guns and doing all these things to us. I remember seeing Macaroni, the comedian, being beaten up. I saw so many things going on. And when you're abroad, you feel a sense of guilt. And I think a lot of us did feel that way in some way. We felt like our brothers are in the battlefield and we're just here. Like, I felt like I should be able to put my voice out, and wow. But after it all kind of died down a little bit, I wanted to put out a song that celebrated love and peace at that time, and then I wrote the song, "Auntie, love your neighbor as you love yourself." Now, so Bible, because we're very religious, now so Bible talk, making.
Oh, that's my next question too. I like how you sequence the question we have for you, because like you catch me before my question. You're like, you touch what I want to say next. I'm like, whoa, okay. I think he's really following what we're saying. My next question is, and I'm sorry to stop you. I think you still want to explain more on that. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
My bad. Yeah. And let me allow you to explain more, because I think I'm into the fact that the question we have wasn't just me. It was a bunch of us that decided to write it. Everybody did research. Right. And looking at what I have, you're really, really touching them sequentially. Like, wow. So it keep catching me on my head. Like, okay, this is. I'm glad you're doing this, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of emotional. And the reason why I said emotional, you said a key word. For everybody outside Nigeria, there's this guilt you have that you want to give back. A lot of people that are really doing, anything back home, don't take it serious. But this is a way to let you know you're intentional about it. To think about the massacre that happened in Nigeria, and part of it bring out this song, and you just go to say, love your neighbor, irrespective of what it is. I'm in America, you're in the UK. And we're Nigerians, which make my next question is, you have this unique blend of UK, there's this steeze of Nigeria and UK in you. But the question says, what is one thing from each place that carry you, that you carry with you every time? What is that, when you look at Nigeria, when you look at UK, what is that moment that, you signed to American record label that you carry with yourself? No matter what, it's always in your head.
See, the thing is, I always say that, like, Nigeria gave me brain. Yeah, Nigeria gave me brain. Like, Nigeria will say use your head.
Fact.
Yeah, use your head. So Nigeria gave me brain. UK gave me steeze. UK made me. UK is the kind of place that they celebrate your talent in a way that makes you think, okay, I am him. I think if I was still in Nigeria, maybe I would be like, actually, my people are very, they're a lot more, it's difficult to please a Nigerian, that. Like,
you're from Warri now. I didn't want to ask that because the question I feel you've answered, so I want to make sure we take our chances well.
I've been age of 12, 13 on stage in Warri, and they don't use pure water or shoe come on stage.
Wow.
Yes, I've been stoned out of stage before. Yes, wow. In Warri. Yes, when I was a lot younger, we used to perform at Junior Staff Club. We used to perform in different places. There's some places where it's good, but you see, Warri, then if you get nervous, you're done. But when I came to the UK sees a little bit of talent in you, and they celebrate it, and automatically you start imagining yourself as what you think you are. Now, what UK then lacks, in my opinion, is the brain that the Nigerian then gives you. Nigerians, yes, they'll give you that brain to know that yes, you are good, but you need to be better. You need to do this. You need to. There's other aspects of the music that you need to understand. You know, and that's what. And Nigeria also helped me to. I think my melody came from obviously my culture, Nigeria. The melody that is Great Adamz, you know, I think it's come from Nigeria itself.
Thank you very much. And my next question is going to be about your vision and future aspiration. And from the last thing you said, the next question: what kind of legacy do you want to leave for Afrobeat world and beyond? You know, you just said it, Great Adamz. Yeah. So what is that legacy you want to give us?
See, the thing for me is I just want the doors to be open for the people that deserve the door to be open, because I feel like I'm breaking a lot of rules in this country at the moment. A lot of rules. You know, I'm the first Nigerian to jump on the Northampton Music Festival stage, first African Black person in general on that stage. Yesterday, I remember when I moved into this town a few years ago. You know, if I knew that a Nigerian would be jumping on stage singing Kurumbe to 500 plus white people and they're dancing and they're jumping, I wouldn't believe it. But guess what? Great Adamz was part of the headliners yesterday. You know, the only black person to be on stage. Okay, and I'm not even Black British. I'm Niger boy. Still have my
correct, Nigeria.
So for me, the legacy is not really about myself, because you know, I'm one of those people that see life very differently. You know, for me, my legacy needs to be that I stuck to what I believe in. I stuck to my sound, but I also tried to open the door for other people. In Northampton now, we have other Afrobeat artists that are literally jumping off, and they're in London doing things. I have my headline show in November. You know, we've opened a Nigerian award show with my manager, Cass. African award show, Black award show in the Midlands. There's none.
I guess I'm about to be there. Are you guys going to invite me? Because I will mind.
We invite you.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious.
Yes,
I might.
Yes, we got
you. I'm going to pull up on you guys.
February, man. We invite you, man. Come through.
Yeah, I will. I will try to work my schedule around it.
Please. It will be amazing to have you. I mean, we're doing all these things. For me, the legacy is very simple. I just want people to go back to my music and be like, oh, this is how he wanted to sound. This is what he wanted to do with his sound. And he achieved that. But also, the people around me, you know, I always think you might be great to the world, but the people around you might think you're horrible. And that's what's even important. That's what's important. Because you know what, the world only sees the very little thing that you throw at them. You see what I show you, you know, but what does the people around me think about me? So my legacy is just that. Yeah.
Thank you. So we're about to move to the fun part, a little bit of fun now. I think I'll make you too serious. So let me bring you back to fun. So the fun one is, if you create a viral challenge for one of your tracks, what would the challenge be? I'm sorry I'm putting it down. If you had to create a challenge right now, what is it gonna be? We know your fans might pick it up from this interview and they might just jump on it. So what is that thing?
You know, there was one challenge that I really, really liked. I think it was, there's a challenge that happened at some point where people were in the shower singing. I think it was Rush. I don't think it was Rush or the song. They were in the shower and I can't remember what song it was, but I thought that was great. That was funny. But if I was doing a challenge, you know what? I've always wondered what it would look like in Nigeria if like random people just goes around hugging people and just be like, because you know why I say so?
Listen to your music though. Remember, you gotta play your music.
I think Love Your Neighbor would be a good song for people to go around doing that. The reason I say so is I find that Nigerians they struggle. I mean, it's getting better now, but have you ever told your guy I love you, like your male friend I love you? They will not reply you. They will not the Nigerian in there will not allow them to reply you. They will be like, okay bro, thanks. You know. I think it'll be nice for us to actually be more expressive emotionally, especially Nigerian men. So I think it'll be a fun thing for guys to just, you know, listening to my music, love your neighbor, and just spreading love, to be honest, giving people hugs, you know, sharing money. If you have money, share to people, you know. But it'll be a nice thing for people to just like, strangers do not like just, oh, how are you doing today? Can I give you a hug? Like, learn to be a bit more expressive. I remember the first time my brother said to me, I love you, bro. I not replied the guy. I was like, which one is love you, bro? What do you think we are? You're right. But I'm mature
right.
now.
I think you're right. I think that's the part. Being here too, I've heard that from my woman here when she would tell me like, you're not just romantic, you're not emotional. I said Nigeria doesn't teach us how to be romantic and emotional, but we're working on it, and I'm glad. For anybody that might be listening to this, the main thing is, anybody out there, give them a hug and play Love Your Neighbor. Give them a hug and play the Love Your Neighbor next to them. When they ask you, tell them you're doing this challenge for Great Adamz. So this might go viral, this might go anywhere, we don't know how it goes. So my next question is going to be, if you could teleport to any place in the world right now to perform Kurumbe, where would it be and who is the audience?
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
Wow. Wow. You know what? That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Make it fun, no overthinking. Just remember, it's a fun. So, just
have you listened to Gangnam Style? Open Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
Have you seen what the Chinese people do when they?
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Like jumping out. Like jumping out of the stage. You know how the guy comes out of the stage and he goes boom, and then he starts.
He did, yeah. It was. I don't know whoever created that style for him. It was one of the word wasn't thinking it can. It was able to captivate our mind. The sound, as an artist, I'm sure you understand. Like the sound, the punchline, Opagan, the beats.
Bro, I'm telling you. Yeah, that question. If I could just once, not like just once in my lifetime,
But where would you like to be though? Where exactly would you like to be?
China, bro. I would love to be in China. Do you know what it is? I would love to be in China. I've got a few friends in China recently. When I dropped Love Your Neighbor, we've had a big people using the sound in China. And honestly, do you know what I realized? It's like I would love to be in China, just in their stadium, just seeing them going crazy. Those people, they rave. A lot of people go crazy about America, but I also think the UK has a crazy rave system. We go mental here.
Y'all doing it now. We're seeing it with all this Nigerian show coming back and forth to UK. Bro, the world is getting to see it a lot.
We're crazy here, man. We love it here. But I think you see this Chinese, like, they rave. They rave different. If it's just for one time only.
Yep.
That's where I want to go, man.
Who knows? China, anything can happen. Anything can happen for this. So now we're back to fun and personality. And that's going to be the last one we're asking you for today. We'll really take your time. And I know you're a very busy person. But I'm glad we're able to get you out of your comfort zone to make you think out like, okay, why are you guys dragging my mind like this? So the last two questions is going to be, if your life is a mixtape, what would you title the track? If your life, think about it. If your life is a mixtape, what would you just randomly write like, okay, let me just title this track, I'll give it this. What would it be?
Oh, you have some crazy questions, bro. I
didn't do it. I'm sorry.
Your team member.
It's fun.
You need to arrest all your team members. They have some insane questions. Bro, it's a hard one. I don't know. You know what it is? It will probably be something very historical. Like it'll be something like, I think I'll probably call it, my album is called Blessed Boy, which is very is relative to myself, but you said it's my life, right? My life. You're talking about my life.
That's it. I think you just gave us your life, your album, everything is historical. I guess
I would say Blessed Boy because you know why I say Blessed Boy, because I had 7 album names until he ended up being Blessed Boy. I would say Blessed Boy because do you know why I say Blessed Boy is? I feel like my career has just been one of those ones where everyone has said, just give up, it's not going to happen. And all of a sudden I got signed this year out of nowhere, So I would say Blessed Boy is definitely the one. Blessed Boy.
Thank you very much for that. That's very deep, actually. And I say that to say it carries a lot of weight when you call it Blessed Boy. That's I think you define everything I need to know about you from what I've searched. Yeah. So the last one that we're asking you is, I'm sorry to ask you this too. You might say, how did you guys come up with this? It said, all right, what is an underrated food combo that slaps? And what is a music combo that the world needs but doesn't know yet? It might be your song. I'm giving you a niche a little bit now. Yeah. So what is that song? That food first is the food. I feel like, man, that food, if they
I
combine,
won't lie. I think one food that people ignore, people don't appreciate is suya and bread.
Your own deep. I don't have a teeth, man. I can't eat that with teeth. My teeth is messed up. But it's crazy. Bread and suya.
I think bread and suya. Honestly, I think people just underrate that meal. See those soft agege bread, the soft one.
If Malam do it for you,
yes, you put suya in the middle. My brother, listen, let me tell you, don't people should not disrespect God. Honestly, see,
man, I think the last time I had that will be 2003. That's a long time. That food you mentioned, that's one of the best food when I was back in Nigeria.
I swear, man.
That's deep.
That would be, for me, that is the underrated food. In terms of music, like the sound of that, I think people need to listen to the new Great Adamz album, to be honest. I think people need to listen to it from the start, because the album is going to tell a very, very strange story. You know, the first song on my album is called Elon Musk. That's the first song on my album. Yes, I know.
You want to give us a little bit of... So that's the last question. And I'm glad you're into everything we're doing. So would you like to break it down for us a little bit? Just, give us...
I can tell you a little bit, not too much.
Yeah, give us a little bit so that people can understand what to expect.
Yeah, so you see, the album is the first, like I said, the first song is called Elon Musk, and it's very, it's a very political song. It's a very political song. It's a message. It's a big message, and it's what I did in that song is when I was writing the song, I always imagined everybody in the world. So okay, I was more doing it for the Nigerian audience, but I always imagined if everybody in Nigeria had money like Elon Musk. Just think about it. I know we don't think about this ever, but just think for 1 second that your neighbor that you're looking down on, that says something to you that you're saying, I'll call police and I'll arrest you and I'll lock you up. Just imagine for a second that neighbor has exactly the amount of money that you have and the exact same power that you have. How would you handle that situation? Would you handle it differently to the way you're handling it? Yeah.
I like that. I think just put it like that. That one is enough to think about. That's a very big one. That's a very anticipating word to give out. Giving us one track, Elon Musk, and just imagine. That's a very. I can't wait for the work you've put in, because that's a very deep. You see a lot of artists, they will tell you, like, I just make music, my family. I'm just. But yours is more. I have a lot of questions about. I won't go into that. So to round it, this is CTD. What is that word that you like to share with the youth that's still doing music? What is that word you like to share with Nigerians all around the world, young, old, that are struggling? You embody love and mental state of people. I can tell that when you make your music, and that's what I'm asking you. Is the last question I'm asking you, like, what is that thing you want to, coming from CTD that we have here, what is that thing you want to put out there for your fans? What is that thing you want to give that boy for everything you've been through, calling your album Blessed Boy, that people don't get that somebody talking to them? You're the only one that understand what you've been through. So what is that thing you want to impact the world, Nigerian, UK, America at large?
I think I'm one of those people that one day when I actually share my story with the world, it will break a lot of hearts, because I think my life is very much deeper than people think. I always say to people, I didn't grow up with a dad. And I grew up with a very struggling mom, extremely struggling mom. I ran away because I realized that if I didn't, my mother would suffer more.
Wow.
I left to come to the UK when I was 17, just going 18. So I was pretty young. Yes, I've been in the country for a long time. Yeah.
Yourself?
Yeah, I flew in myself. Yeah, I mean, I flew. Who's gonna?
If I come to UK, we're doing a section where it's gonna be now. So I gotta sit down because wow.
Yeah. My story is a lot more. My story is a lot more deeper, and I've always said, if I ever sit down with someone to share, it would be insane for the person to listen to what I've had to go through to achieve everything I've achieved. So, what I want to say to people, especially the young generation nowadays, everyone seems to have an idea that they think you should do. Okay, but let me tell you, at the end of the day, you're the only person that is responsible for your life.
Fact.
I feel like we've forgotten that part. If someone tells you go left and you go left and you break your head, they are not responsible. It's you that is responsible. So whatever thing that you're doing in your life, just remember, I am responsible for what happens to me tomorrow morning. So when you're going out there to put the work in with understanding that tomorrow I have to look myself in the mirror, you know. And if you ever fall in love with something that you want to do it well. Don't do it, oh, let me just do and make I see how it be. Ronaldo never did anything to see how he's going to go. Ronaldo knew where he was going.
Like that.
That's the truth. So I think the main thing I would say to people is, first thing is believe in yourself. Okay. Remember, you're responsible for your life every single day. Even if you're heartbroken right now, tomorrow you're still responsible for you. You know, and thirdly, whatever you want to do it well. Just focus on doing that thing that you want to do and do it properly. Okay. And don't just think, oh, let me do this just for the sake of it. It might not work or whatever. No, don't have that mentality. The mentality is it's going to work, so I need to do it correctly.
Man, that's a big one. That's a big one, and it's been an honor having you, Great Adamz. We proud. We are so blessed to have you on our platform in terms of sharing the juice, sharing things that the world have never heard about you. I hope the world won't pick the part I didn't want them to pick, which is the fact that you still live in church and you're still being a Great Adamz. It's a privilege we have you. I promise I will definitely work. I will tell my team some kind of way. I would like to be in the UK to honor that program, and we do appreciate you. And when the album come out too, I'll definitely slide. I'm a fan. I'll slide into your DM myself, and I will make sure I keep up with you. So it's an honor having you on our platform. Thank you, bro. Keep doing your thing. And the sky is just a stepping stone for you. I can tell you for that. That's fact. It's not about just the music. It's what you embody yourself as a Nigerian. And I just want to tell you I'm proud of you. And thank you very much.
It, man. And, thank you.
Hope to see you in person soon. Thank you very much.
Yes, guys. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Peace. Thank you. Thank you to the team as well. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll deliver a message.